My name is Brian Miller. I'm the Director of Code Enforcement for Plainsboro Township. We do have a requirement in Plainsboro to obtain what's called a housing certificate of occupancy for anyone who's interested in selling their home. This is a process that involves part of our department performing an inspection. There's an application and registration that is associated with that. But it is an important aspect to know when you consider selling your home, because as we all know, this can be a very stressful time in people's lives, and generally speaking, this time frame is compressed, and so it's very important to do this in advance. The housing certificate of occupancy is valid for 90 days. So in some cases, people can obtain that certificate of occupancy and then go through the sale and closing process without having any interactions with our office. So that's one component that can make this event less stressful. The process to sell a home in Plainsboro typically starts with someone applying online. Most of our applicants will do this online. We have the information on our webpage. If you go to the township's webpage and find our department, most of the information that you're going to need is there. And there's also links for these applications to be applied online, as well as the payment. Once the applicant applies online, we'll typically reach out and coordinate that inspection with them. In the summer is typically our busiest time of year, so it's important to realize that we're typically about 2 weeks out on the scheduling process. So when somebody is contemplating this inspection, please take that into consideration. In other times during the year, it's more like a week. So just during the summer, when people are trying to move in and get the kids registered in the school district, that time frame is typically about 2 weeks. But once the inspection is scheduled, one of our inspectors will come out who's assigned to the inspection. We'll generally set a time for that inspection, so it could be a convenient time for you, morning, afternoon. And the inspection can vary as far as time frame. A larger single-family home can take upwards of an hour. A smaller condo might take 15 or 20 minutes. Also, what varies are the types of issues that arise during the inspection process. Quite often we discover work that was done, regulated work that was done without a permit. That makes the whole process a little bit more challenging. I will say actually a lot more challenging, because quite often this work was done many years ago. And so today we wind up issuing a construction permit for work that was done 10, 15, 20 years ago. And the challenge for us is that we're enforcing certain model codes and standards today that were not in effect when this work was done. So in some cases, it can make it a little bit more stringent for the property owner to comply. So again, it adds another level of challenge in this process because it's still within our department, but it involves a different aspect of our department. So there's more coordination that is needed, there's more inspections that are necessary, and in some cases, homeowners are now trying to solicit services from contractors and be subject to those delays as well. So again, this is a timely type of a situation for people, and it just makes it a little bit more stressful for everybody when we discover these issues. So my advice is to make sure people check with our office if they need a permit for work. If they do, we much prefer them to obtain those permits while the work is underway, before they do the work. This way we can resolve any technical issues, and it makes it a lot easier for people down the road when they go to sell their house. They've got more or less a clean bill of sale. So that's my advice. If there's one takeaway from this informative video, hopefully that will sink in. So please let us know if you have questions. Our contact information is on the webpage. You can call us, email us. We answer questions in those two formats. You can even come in person if you'd like, and someone will help you at the counter. The types of things that the inspector will look for during the resale inspection vary. Our ordinance is rather lengthy. The housing ordinance is technically Chapter 55B in the Township Code Book. We do, however, have some guidelines for people on the township's website that you might find helpful. So the guidelines are just that. They are the common things that we come across as it relates to deficiencies potentially, things like smoke alarms, carbon monoxide alarms, portable fire extinguishers, things like that. Now, it doesn't capture all of the ordinance, so sometimes people get frustrated and say, well, that's not on your guidelines. And the guidelines are a single-page document, so I can't take a 30-page ordinance and turn it into a one-page document without the font being so small no one would be able to read it. So these are bullet points, the things that we typically come across that you proactively can make sure are compliant. Smoke alarms, for example, are required to be within 10 years of age. So if you have a 20-year-old home and you've never changed the smoke alarms, just the batteries, those smoke alarms are going to be required to be changed. So go to the local home center, get the correct type, and that's something that most people can do themselves. It's about the same as changing a light fixture. So if you're not comfortable, we always suggest you hire a licensed contractor to do that work for you. But those are common things. Portable fire extinguishers are also a code mandated requirement, and those are required to be of a certain size, and they are required to be mounted in a visible location. So quite often we see that portable fire extinguisher provided, except it's still in the box and it's on the floor. So you need to take the extra step and make sure it's mounted at the correct height and in the correct location. That information is on our guidelines. So hopefully that's helpful information for you. So our inspectors perform an inspection. They do not physically perform any work that you may be in need of. They won't replace your smoke alarms. They won't mount your portable fire extinguisher, those types of things. We're there to assist you in any way we can, but we just don't take that next step where the liability becomes an issue or a potential issue. So our recommendation always is, if you have questions about something, we can help answer those questions. We can refer you to certain types of contractors that might be helpful. Unfortunately, another part of the code of ethics that we're required to adhere to doesn't allow us to recommend any particular contractor. So although we work with many licensed contractors, it's difficult sometimes not to be able to make those recommendations, but we often just tell people to do your due diligence as a consumer. Check people's reviews, do a Google search or some type of search for local contractors, and try to get information from others who have had work done by them. That's always the best referral, is word of mouth. So if anyone has any questions related to the sale of their house, please reach out to our office. You can find the contact information on the township's webpage. You can email us, you can call us, you can come in person during business hours. We're there to help you. We want you to be successful. We want you to follow the protocols in place, and we want to ensure that we don't pass anything along to the prospective buyer that they're going to inherit that was improper or not done correctly. And it's very difficult to deal with those situations because it's already something that's happened in the past. So moving forward, please reach out. If you have questions, you can contact us. Our housing administrative, Jalpa, coordinates all of the inspection activity. She can be contacted via email or telephone as well. So we're here to help you and make your sale successful. And we've had a lot of long-term happy Plainsboro residents leave us and be very grateful for the process and the inspections that we've performed for them.